Hello and welcome to a quick view of the mobile app editor. We're going to show you a few of the basics in the mobile app editor here. We do have other tutorials which will go deeper into the specific features of the app editor, but here we have a general overview. When you log in, you will see your main two options on the left. Those are Create and Manage. In Manage, you have the ability to view app analytics and send out push notifications. In the Create section, you are able to edit the app content. And when you click Edit App Content, you will see all of the pages or what we call features that are active in the app. Down here, if you click this arrow, you can view any features that might be inactive. What active and inactive means is that the feature exists in the app if it's inactive, but it can't be viewable to the user. So you might have some type of seasonal page that is active for a while, and then you can move it to inactive. And the way that you would make something inactive is you would click on the minus icon, and that would move it down into the list of inactive features. If you click the minus icon while it's inactive, it will be removed, or you can click the plus icon to move it back to active. It's also important to realize that you can grab these arrows and you can reorder these icons. The first five are the five that will appear on the home page of your app. So if you ever want to rearrange what is appearing on the home page, just rearrange these first five. Everything after five appears under more, and it appears under more in the order that you have them over here. See, we see wall coming in as the first option because wall is the fifth one. The first four actually are what appear on the home page, with five being the more button. Let's take a look at editing what is called an info feature. An info feature is where the content is typed directly into the app editor. So if you have one of these, you can come in and you can edit the content here. You have tools available to allow you to format the text a little bit. You can change the font size. You can insert a picture and create hyperlinks. We'll just show you quickly how to create a link. You would highlight, then you would click link, and then you would type in your URL here. If it's an email address, you would do mail to colon and then the email address. If it's a website address, of course, you would just type in the website address starting with the HTTP and then the website address. And of course, you probably are familiar with using these other formatting tools. Here, you can decide whether or not a picture shows on the top of this info tab. We'll go ahead and take a look at the About Us section here in the preview app so that you can see the picture at the top. Click on Welcome, and we'll see that there is going to be a photo at the top of this page. You do not have to have that photo. If you don't want it, you uncheck this box here, header and comment sections. Comments are turned off by default on your app, so you can just refer to header. Header will be turned off and that picture won't be there. If you want to change that picture, you click this option here, and you can choose any picture that's been uploaded previously, or you can browse on your computer and upload a new photo. You do need to do that for mobile and tablet sizes. As long as your picture is big enough, it should work well. If you need help formatting your pictures, please let us know. But that's how you change the picture, and that is how you work with the text. And this is also the title that will appear over here. The title that appears here is not necessarily the same as what appears here, so you can change that. I'm sorry, for an info 2 tier, it is what appears here. We'll take a look now at an info 1 tier. And this is where you set what appears over the icon. And as we look at the one tier, we see that we're taken directly to the content. There are no choices, and that is the definition of a one tier, is that the user goes directly to the content. But we have the same options for editing and the same options for hiding the header image and changing the header image. If you need to change what this little icon itself is, you click here, and that will allow you to edit the icon. Let's take a look at a website feature or website page. That is where an external website is opening inside of the app. And here we've clicked on this particular Bible link, and we see this Bible website is opening in the app. We see that it's in the app, so it looks like it's part of the app, but it is an external website. Again, the more mobile friendly that external website, the better it's going to look inside the app. And again, these can be pages from your website. Very often you want these to be pages from your website so that when you update your website, you're automatically updating pages in the app. But from time to time, you will need to change or add or remove these website features. Let's go ahead and look at what that might look like. We click on the edit icon, and here we can change the URL. So if for some reason you needed to change this, you could do so right here, or you can change the name of it. Here's a few other options. Normally you would want these all off. Open in a new browser. What that will do is, in a new browser window, that will cause the website page to actually open in the phone's browser and not in the app. The only time you would do that is if for some reason the website wasn't functioning properly inside the app. Some third-party websites just need to be open in the browser, and in fact, Apple and Android require that donations and payments happen in the phone's browser and not in your app. So if it's linking off to your donation or payment page, you would click this link here. Hybrid browser is a partial in between type of browser. It really is using the browser, but it's doing it in the app. It allows you to click a done button. This is a good thing to try if your third party website is for some reason not opening well in the app. Try this first. Use this one for donations and payments. Use this for something that might not be working before you try this. But most of the time, everything opens nicely inside the app, and you would just keep all of these unchecked, but that is what those options do. This is a location feature. This is where an address can go in to the app, and we'll take a look at that now. You could have multiple locations available. Maybe you do have multiple locations for your organization. And when you click edit, you can go in here and you can change the address, or maybe you're going to add a new one. You normally will want this show images off. You can put in other contact information here. A little tip as you are adding things in here. As you type it in, what you're going to want to do is check or click on the option that comes below. That is how you populate this. Just typing it in doesn't quite do it. You do have to actually click on what the Powered by Google shows you, and that will populate this area. Okay, and then you can see all the other types of features here. We'll get into those more in depth in our other tutorials, but this at least shows you the basics of how you would be editing content. If you wanted to add a new info page or a new website feature, you could do that here. And here you're presented with all your options for different pages. Again, you'll mostly likely use website and info. There is such a thing as info 3 tier. That's usually pretty complicated for the user, so you'll probably stick with 1 and 2 tier. Again, these are for typing content indirectly, and website is for making an external website open in the app. We'll go ahead and work on making a new one. We'll just call it sample just so you can see the process of making a new one. And here is the new website tab we made. Notice it doesn't have an icon, so we will want to give it a new icon. We can send you some sample ones that might be specific for your organization, or you can come in here. We normally have ours matching the traditional option, but there are some more modern designs you can look at. And we'll just grab this clock here for the sake of the example, and see the clock shows up in here, and then we can click here to add in our new website feature. We will just put in Google for the example. This might be where you're putting in something from your website, and then here it is showing up, and you can continue to do that. So if you were to have multiple pages under sample, you can do that. Website features automatically choose whether they're one tier or multi-tier based on how many items you put in here. And if you wanted to make an info tab, you would just click on the option here and make it and go through the same process we went through before, but this time you would be typing the content in directly. Again, we'll have a tutorial that shows you more in depth on how to work with an info tier or info feature. Let's take a look at managing real quickly. We'll look at app analytics. This is a demo app, so there won't be very many, if any, analytics in here, but it'll give you an idea of how this area works at least. Okay, not much data here because this is just a demo app. One thing you'll definitely want to do is work with your time frame. It defaults to last 7 days, but you could change it to these other options here or a custom range. So you can get an idea of what is going on with your app, how many downloads, where in the world it's being viewed, and then this gives you an idea of the different sections or features in your app and how often those are being visited. Let's look at push notifications, obviously a very powerful feature of the app and the app editor. There's a few options in here. First thing you'll do is click compose, and you can give a little bit of a subject to your notification and the content itself. You also can skip the message title and just go here. You type in your content. You choose your audience. Mostly you'll do iOS and Android. Web app is a website version of this app. You don't really use that. That would be something you might make available if someone with a Windows phone or BlackBerry phone asks you to view the app. You could give them the web app and we can help you with that if that arises. But for the most part, you're going to be promoting your iOS and Android apps. So you'll click here to make sure you're sending to all those apps. If for some reason you only wanted to send to Apple or Android, you could filter by location. Most of the time you will not do that, but if you wanted to send to a specific location, you could. And we'll just put in a city and state here, and you can even really change how narrow your area is. This can be used for testing. Maybe you want to send some tests, and so you might circle around just the location where you are, and that way you would only send to a few people. This users count will change as you change the circle, so when you get it down to 1 or 2 users, you know that it's just going to you where you are. So again, a good way to test, but most of the time you will send to everyone no matter where they are. You can have what you post go directly to Facebook and Twitter. You'll click connect, and you will need to sign in to Facebook with the account that is the administrator for your group or page. And then that will allow you to connect the Facebook page or Twitter page to this. Again, optional, don't have to do it. And then you can schedule for the future or send right now. So you could set up some push notifications to go in the future. All right, we already looked at app analytics and we already looked at the create area. So these are the main things that you can do in the app editor. Again, we do have other tutorials that will help you with more of the app editor, but this at least shows you a nice overview of how the app editor works.